Okay, dear students, we will be talking about word association test, which is a very, very important test of your psychological evaluation. Now, what exactly happens in word association test? You are given words, a short exposure of 15 seconds, and with your head movement taken into account, hardly 10 to 12 seconds for you to react with a sentence. I repeat, you are given a word on the screen, shown in the screen for 15 seconds. Generally, by the time you move your head movement, you actually get 10 seconds to respond with a relevant sentence using the word. In the process of writing sentences using the word, you are naturally writing an emotion, a thought, a fact, whatever you feel. And since the words are coming rapidly after 15 seconds, 60 of them, so you generally land up being fast in responding. And in the process, many times your learned words also, learned sentences also doesn't come handy. Number 3, one more, that your emotions come out in the open, your predictability comes out in the open, and they are able to identify the true self of yours. The subconscious comes out in open. So always remember that when they show you a word and they give you just 10 to 12 seconds to react, you automatically jump up with responses, and that automatically is generally your true response. Agreed, there are people who learn sentences, who learn words, make sentences, but do you think, like, if I stand on the stadium, in this podium, and from here I speak big things, do I become big? No. The big talks will only show that I am trying to be impressive. And the right word would be pseudo-impressive, falsely impressive, trying to pretend something, which also is not fair. Psychologist is able to identify, are you writing your true self or are you writing your hidden self? This is how the word association test is created. Has been created to identify your inner self. It is a confirmatory test. You've already done story writing. So now word association test generally confirms a lot of things, directly, indirectly. It's well structured. Defense Institute of Psychological Research is a well-designed unit of DRDO, Defense Research and Development Organization, which is able to identify the general psychology out of you. Now, if you think that I'm going to write n number of brilliant stories, n number of brilliant WATs, you'll get selected, probably not. That is why in the conference they say, we don't pick the best, we don't pick the rest, we pick only our suitable to ourselves. So there are people who are competent who get rejected in the conference. There are some people who are very weak, they get rejected in the conference. But the people who are appropriate for the organization, they are picked up. Suppose you have a Mother Teresa soul in your body, where you believe in forgiving everyone every time. You believe in forgiving everyone every time. Are you appropriate for the armed forces? Probably not. Because if we have this kind of Mother Teresa soul, then what will happen? Our country will no more be ours. We will always be forgiving and others will be taking advantage of ourselves. So somewhere the right approach is what we know we want, and we want that. Your energy is strength, which is positive, yet strong, to stand by, is what we want. So in the word association test, we identify this. It's a confirmatory test. I repeat, confirmatory test of your hidden thoughts. You may pretend good stories. You may have done homework and written down very good stories. But if you have not written from your heart, WAT will identify that you are not writing from your heart, you have learned it all. So it is very necessary for you that you should master the art of expressing your heart in a positive and original fashion. And we here in Lamilchur Academy have been doing it for the past 36 years, particularly me as a trainer or a psychologist for 30 years. And thus, we not only first created few sentences, but that was not enough. Giving you a list, learn and give, then everybody is writing the same. That also can never happen. No people can think dot to dot alike until unless they are trained by the same teacher or the same school. So therefore, thinking that, okay, learned sentence can do your job, I'm sorry, no. There are some times when you have a very short reaction time of 10 to 12 seconds, your learned response doesn't come up on your mouth or in your mind. So what happens? You are applying zero, or you write something wrong, bizarre, odd, strange. And that is contradiction to your earlier performance. Am I right? So now let's talk about WAT, word association test. Just a second, sorry. Come on, guys. Yep. We'll talk about word association test. Association test. We call it word association. Association stands for What do you mean by association? There are 10 people standing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now you are standing here. These are 10 different categories and you are also one of the categories. Whom would you mingle with this? Naturally, your own category. You like more affinity with the same. I have often seen that convent school boys like to talk to convent school boys, Hindi medium, Tamil, others. Not for the sake of any particular reason, but for the sake of comfortability, but for the sake of connectivity. Sometimes it comes to nature, then also it happens that somebody who's friendly in nature loves to talk with somebody who's friendly. I have been let me be honest, moods are also a change, but for SSB, your mood should be balanced. It should not be going into your moody nature. I remember that there were some people who were very friendly, very open, very helping. But whenever I used to talk to them, I don't know what used to happen, that they used to come up with a lot of interpretation. Then I had somebody known to me who always made a lot of castigations. Why did you say this? Why did this happen? Why did I do this? Why did you? Then automatically what did I decide after years together? Okay, I'm not talking to these people at all because these people create a lot of messy stories. Better to keep silent with them. No interpretations and no conflicts. Am I right? Now here people may misunderstand me that I am not friendly. No. This is my long-term experience. But for youngsters like you should be open, you should be cool, calm, mixing to all. Am I right? So whom will you choose for your mixing? You will automatically choose a person of your category. You will associate with that category. And that is exactly this test is talking about. Word association test. How do you associate with the word? And in some of the words you may associate with a touch me not approach. And in some of the word you will try to embrace it. Yes or no? And when you embrace it, then a psychologist can rightly identify, okay, this is the kind of person you are. And somewhere, touch me not, that means you are not that kind of person. So this is what word association test basically picks up in terms of psychological information. I hope nobody is sleeping here. Just keep your mind open because everything will become useless if you don't pay attention. Now we get back to the basics of word association test. in addition to this point. Have you understood this? There was an old saying, if you remember, birds of same feather flock together. That means that people who have similar type of quality, they remain with that kind of quality. Now remember, in word association test, there are 20 words which are positive, 20 words which are generally negative, and 20 words which are supposed to be neutral. Neutral. We have to go very basic so you will understand that. The words which are positive automatically will pick up your emotions, may be more comfortable for you to handle. But negative words are also very important because they will tell how will you manage the stress, how will you manage the situations, how will you manage your day-to-day challenges. And neutral word will be something which you can make it as positive also, you can make it negative also, or you can take it neutral also. When you take 20 words neutral into negative side, of course your multiplication and negativity will improve. But if you take it to positive side, your positivity will improve. We are looking forward to improvement of the positivity of life. No one is here to remain forever. That includes me. That includes everyone. But we are going to make most out of our life is also important. So positivity helps you to do that. So if you are creating it into positivity, fine. But even if you are writing something neutral, it's fine. But transforming neutral words into negative means that your thought process is not about positivity, it is about negativity. Is it clear to all of you? The more. Now 20 words you've done, 60 words are there. And they come in rapid sequence. So you know, won't be until unless you get into a little practice to understand them well and to use your brain rightly, you will not be able to handle them when they come quick. There are times when a person is a very nice gentleman, but sometimes when people blast him with a lot of things, sometimes some word can come out wrong, which may be hampering the entire evaluation. Because it is like the game which we used to play in the small childhood, Tota Ud, Maina Ud, and then suddenly Bhais Ud. And then we used to raise our finger in Bhais Ud and we used to get punished for doing that mistake. Am I right? So somewhere all this kind of game is being done here also. They give you positive words, but suddenly in between they mix it up. Some words positive and suddenly a negative, then a neutral, then maybe positive, then neutral. Then positive, negative, neutral, then positive. You're getting the point. Anything, the psychologist has the freedom to do that. To emit a response out of you. However calculative you may be, your response will come out in front of them. Now, why are you here if you have to write only what you are feeling? You are here to master the art of your wisdom. Once I landed up with one of the officers and they asked, and we were discussing about how the training really helps or not. He said, see, when a child is born, is untrained. But over a period of time, when the child uses the brain rightly, it not only learns to relate the brain rightly, but also learns to create a better behavior also, a better personality also, a better thought process also. So if somebody is having good thought process, it is better to keep him in the forces rather than having a person who's got no thought process or poor thought process. So somewhere which you may think is artificial, it is not. It is only to strengthen your thought process. Now when we do that, we go into the research of how the thought process is generated in a person of mind. I have said it before, I repeat it again. Your perception is the first step to your movement. Yes. For example, I give you a choice between two people. One a neighboring lady and one your aunt who has been always loving to you, and tell you that you have 1 hour to spare. Where will you spend your time? 90%, rather 100% or maybe 99% will prefer to go to their aunt's place who's very loving. so that they can have a memorable time. Am I right? That means your perception decided your trajectory. Yes or no? So if your perceptual tool, your thinking process is rich, then automatically what will happen? You will think rightly. And when you will think rightly, then what will happen? Automatically you will respond rightly. So I am saying, even if you are a responsible person and I give you a choice to go to your aunt who is loving or to go to a neighboring aunt who needs your help, whom will you go to? That time you may not go to your aunt who is loving, you may go to the neighboring aunt to help because you have a responsible attitude. So again your perception changed your trajectory, yes or no? Last but not the least, I give you another situation where again a loving aunt and a neighboring aunt who is a very senior director in one of the companies where you aspire to work and you have 1 hour to go and you are aspiring, you are having ambition and you have to do something and you get an option that you do go to your aunt who is loving or you go to that lady who is having the information of the company where you want to serve. Where will you go? Maybe to that person, to the company person, to go and learn something about the company. Depends on how you approach. So all the time there was a different emotions. Yes or no? There may be another situation where again a loving aunt and a neighboring aunt who has suffered of husband's death and you feel that you should be there as a social responsibility, right? And again you have a freedom to choose between going to an aunt and have marry or going to a duty. You may prefer the second one for doing your social responsibility. Again, there is a directive thought process. Yes or no? So different directive thought process guides you to that thing. So do you think that it is only a single process? No. Different emotions. And believe me, each one of you sitting here have different emotions and different thoughts, different guidelines. That is how your complete personality comes into being. You are very much a part of the family. You are also very much a part of the society. You are very much a part of the responsibility. You are very much a part of the ambition and desire for promotion in life. And you are very much a part of your entertainment, happiness. Yes or no? Again, I give you another situation. You are young, you got a job, and you like a girl, and you have to go to 2 places. One, an aunt who is very loving and your relative, and the other, a lady whose daughter you aspire to marry. Whom would you go to? Next, you would like to go and talk to that lady whose daughter you aspire to marry so that you can come to know more about the girl and probably settle your future perspective in a better dimension. Yes? Again, a different thought processes come up. So there are different thought processes which define your reactions to the same. And here we are going to teach you those different thought processes so that you can respond to word in different ways. All of them have certain directive modes for your mind to behave. And if you are quick and smart and you practice enough to leave your mind rich with the right set of directive principles, then automatically your response would be healthy. Is it clear? Okay. So we go further. Is it clear to all of you? Now we go further. That is, there are many things which you have to learn and many things which you have to practice. You know, moment you do this and then you give me your evaluation, I'll help you come up with more things. Remember, this exercise of psychology is not only about self-reflection, it is also about your creative presentation. So that through creative presentation you will be original and through your own reflection you will be truthful. Is it clear? There is a very simple way some people do in terms of an old orthodox policy that they learn sentences or they learn proverbs. They learn different sentences and thereafter they keep duplicating it. In the process, what happens? They become, number one, stereotyped, number two, they get blocked in their thoughts, and last but not the least, they suffer in terms of the responses. Am I right? So let's go back to those words and make you understand the different thing. Now, what are positive words? You have to identify this first before we rush up to the modus operandi which we want to teach you. What are negative words? You have to identify. What are neutral words? You have to identify. Okay. So in positive word, if we talk about, okay, we were talking about positive, negative and neutral words. What are they in word association? Positive word is like honor is positive word. Hero is positive word. Honesty is positive word. All quality and good emotion words. Happy is positive word. Negative, you will get villain as negative word. Defeat as negative word. Where victory is positive, defeat is negative. Yes or no? Honor, shame is negative word. Am I right? And what are neutral words? Neutral words are like father, mother, brother, sister, school. Yes or no? School, officer, these are all different words which are neutral. You can make it as good also. Like my father, then it will automatically become positive because you will be talking positive about him. Yes or no? So, and some people write Gandhiji was father of nation. This is a neutral way of dealing it. But if I say that my father is a very supportive and a nice person to me, so we have transformed positive emotion to it. So, this is clear? Yes or no? Now we go down furthermore. How do we treat them? How do we treat these words? There is a way which we have generally originated and that can help you be more in control of your thoughts. One, we have said that positive words can be thought, this is a research thought process, by different four modus operandi. That is DARK, which I call. D stands for definitional, A stands for associative, R stands for reflective, and K stands for knowledge. Now, what do you mean by definitional, associative, reflective, knowledge? I want to make you understand that so that then you will be having four different things to work and identify. In definitional for that matter. Whenever we give in a word like mobile, we often think mobile is an instrument to connect and communicate with others. So what have we done? We've gone into the definitional thought process. Right. Now, associative means my mobile, in which I am reflecting myself. Should we do this? Yes, because the psychologist is interested to know about us. Yes or no? So if I write more on my, now in mobile it's not very important, but particularly in quality words, more. In quality words, more, because they want to know about it. Now you will get a word definition. Now let's do one quality so that you can understand how the different words are understood, and then we will practice more and become a champion in the same. In honesty, definitional is, honesty is the virtue, is a virtue liked by all. Remember one thing, very important rule. Try to go by a sentence which is maximum 5 to 6 words. That's all. Probably 5 words also. If you go for honesty is a appreciated virtue, more short, more good. Why 5 to 6 words? Because that is all the time duration you will get to write. 10 seconds doesn't give you ample of time to write a Ramayana or a Mahabharata or Iliad or any other thing. Is it clear to all of you? So short answers have to be ready. Crispy thought process has to come up. So definitional is one where you can define it. It is no rule that your first sentence has to be definitional. No rule at all. It is your random tools which you can use. Whichever you want to use first. Depends on you. Now is associative. Associative means mine. The way I look at it. The way I feel at it. This is what quality word. So, our honesty gives inner strength. What have you done? You have written a psychological experience of yours, which is internal to you. Naturally, don't you think honesty gives you great power to stand in front of everyone? But if you are dishonest, you are scared, I hope nobody kicks my butt, kind of thing. Yes or no? But if you are honest, then what are you? Ready. Okay. So honesty gives me inner strength. Our honesty. Our, we, us, once. These are words where I say, this is me. For example, this is mobile. And this mobile I say, my mobile. We like a mobile. Ours mobile. Our, us, we, mine, me. What are we doing? We are associating with it. And in the process we are telling some inner part of us to the evaluator. If you say that I am not going to do that, I am just going to write journal sentences, there is a possibility that the psychologist will not get enough knowledge about you to predict you, to identify you, and thus evaluate you or give you marks for the same. So it is better to express yourself also. Is it clear? Of course, the expression should be positive and displaying your strength as well. Now we come down to reflective. Now reflective means our approach which reflects us. This modus operandi is very effective, particularly for neutral words. For example, if I get father, mother, sister, brother, defense forces, anything. What are you sitting here for? Getting selected in defense forces, right? So if you write in defense that I want to be a part of the defense forces as an officer, nothing wrong. You justify it. If you get father, you can say that my father is so and so and is very supportive. My mother is a very good friend, and because whatever you say here, you can verify later in the interview. So where is the problem? There is no problem. Feel free to express yourself. So you can use those neutral words to tell your positive emotion about those people. After all, their confidence multiplies your confidence. Their support multiplies your confidence. So why not express it? So that's called reflective technology. Then we come down to knowledge. What do you mean by knowledge? Knowledge is anything where you get a sentence which is related to day-to-day affairs, updation. Now here, if I take reflective, I want to say reflective will be quite like associative also, but in a different term. My father encouraged me to be honest and bold. Right? What have I done? I have reflected myself. You were not born suddenly from some place. You were born on the earth and you were in the custody of your parents who were your guardians, who educated you. So I think somewhere that things their teaching will help you. I have written, my father encourages me to be honest and bold. So it's good teaching, and that is reflective in your sentence. Then we come down to knowledge. Knowledge is anything which you will get in terms of general observation, general data, whatever it is. So if we say honesty is appreciated universally by the society, nothing wrong. Or if we say honest workers, lately the Prime Minister during the Padma Bhushan award appreciated honest achievers. You can do that. Now in that case, you have again written something which is coming from your day-to-day observation. Which day-to-day observation remains in your mind? The ones which you appreciate. We have a selective forgetting. We generally keep healthy things in our mind or very bad traumatic experiences in our mind. Rest are washed away. So if we have some positive experiences, they inspire us, and negative experiences discourages us. But if we are talking about psychological presentation, those positive experiences inspire us. Yes or no? So here we have written that down. Is it clear? So got this modus operandi to a certain extent. Now how will you master this? I'll teach you. Take a word, write it in 4 different ways. And suddenly you will find that you have no shortage of thoughts. You're rich. You can create many more. And if you do it for at least 50 odd words, suddenly you will get to have a grip of your thought process. You will be able to have a panorama of thoughts and you will be able to freely perform. That's it. However, if some sentences remain there in your mind and they become something which is very, very memorable and is ready for you to express and you find them appropriate, why not do that? But in case you are doing a WAT and you get blocked in thought process, this way to have 4 different ways to think will help you to get out of it. Suppose I would have taught you only definitional, then all your WATs would have become stereotype only in terms of definitional approach. If I would have taught you associative, all of them would have become stereotype, reflective, stereotype, knowledge, stereotype. So having this panorama of thoughts will help you to rapidly, randomly choose any of the tool and write. I always recommend that associative, particularly for quality words like determination, honesty, integrity, cooperation, intelligence, all these quality words, you should use your associative. You should show what you think of those qualities in your own personal way. For example, in determination is there, my sports teacher taught me the power of determination in marathon. Can be written if you have done marathon. Don't copy it for the sake that sir said it. Now this is Ramband. No, there is no Ramband. You can take Ravan Band, Yudhishthir Band, Arjun Band, but do have a band. Yes or no? Use anything, but it should be wise. Ravan was also a very wise person. It is unfortunate that people have taken them or presented them. But if you go down to the south, you will find that Ravana is worshipped by a lot of people there. And he was a wise person. He did not misbehave with goddess Sita. That is enough proof for a man who is picked up. Now was it general people will understand lust? But if you rightly see, it was instigation by the sister. The sister misleaded Ravana. Yet Ravana abstained from doing any crime. Am I right? So, and Rama as an right God come Maryada Purushottam came forward to rescue, which is the duty of a husband to get the wife back. You getting the point? So there's a lot of interpretations. But there is no doubt that the appreciation of Lord Rama as a God is a good inspiring example and is to be understood. But it doesn't mean that others need to be disparaged to that. Perspectives can be higher for him, but the other perspective can also be there. That's the thought process. Is it clear or not clear? So now let's come back to this. Have you understood? Dark, this is for positive words. Now let's do something for the negative words also, because we'll get a lot of words negative. In negative words, what will happen? Your emotions can go awry, they can go, they become unleashed and they will become very strong, and then you'll say, "I," and then you will be able to realize that let me ask you one thing. What is mental health? Mental health is the ability to think with good mental capacities at every point of time. Where does the mental health get affected? It gets affected by traumatic experiences, undefined roles, confusions, disturbances, stress, disorders. So if you have been living in a rich atmosphere of right parents, right friends, right school, and the rich doesn't mean everything smooth. It means very healthy, balanced. You will know how to handle stress, you will know how to do positive in all situations. But if you have seen negativity over a long period of time, then you will have a disturbance not to react to those people and probably become very protective in negative situation or in that set of company. Yes or no? So remember, that is very important. That negativity is decoded here. So here we go for negative words. What is the code word which I teach you? That is horse. That is how it becomes dark horse. It helps you to understand. Horse. H is for historical. O is for opposite. S is for remedial. S is for second person. E is for effective perception. Now you will say, what does it mean, sir? I'll be very clear. Whenever you come across a negative word, say dishonesty for that matter, because that is how I am trying to teach you. Honesty I have already taught, dishonesty, here we go. In historical perspective, if I write that dishonest men brought corrupt practices in society, or corrupt practices, whatever you want to end it up in. What have I done? I have not commented how I feel about dishonesty, but I have reflected something which was a historical fact. It is natural for me to write. Suppose you come across traitor and you have written Mir Jafar is a well-known traitor of Bengal. Yes or no? Or Jaichand was a traitor against Prithviraj Chauhan. Yes or no? So you can write. There is nothing wrong. You are not saying that it should be happening. You are just observing a historical fact. So you won't be short of thoughts. You will be able to create one. Then we come down to opposite. What is opposite of dishonesty? And you can write a sentence on that. Now you will say, sir, we were told that we have to use the word in our sentence. Here we are not using dishonesty, we are writing a sentence on honesty. No, the psychologist did not tell you to use the word in the sentence. He told you very clearly, write the first response you feel after seeing the word. So whenever you see dishonesty, honesty also comes into your mind. Whenever you see defeat, victory also comes into your mind. It is natural. So you may do that. But every time taking a negative word and transforming it to positive and writing a sentence will again become cheating in a way that you are not thinking in broader dimension, you are trying to run away. As I have told you, stereotyped answers will go against your thought process and the multiplicity of thoughts which is expected of you. You should have multiple thoughts, and that is something which you have to work on. So here opposite word means honesty. You have written on something on honesty. Wonderful. What's wrong? Black, white comes into mind. Dark, light comes into mind. Natural. So you can write on that, but not always. Sometimes. When you get stuck with some negative word and you don't know what to write, you can think the opposite of that word and write. Rather than missing the opportunity of writing a sentence on the word. It is better to do something at least. And that is natural to happen. You getting the point? Got it? Now we come down to remedial. A person who is solution finding in nature. When a person is solution finding in nature, what will happen? Whenever you show him a problem, he will tell the solution of the same. Suppose I give you, in this case, dishonesty. So dishonest men need to be severely punished to discourage. You have told the remedy, am I right? You have told how they can be solved. If you get calamity, so you can say preparation in advance can reduce loss in calamity. Yes or no? So these are all ways which will show that you have the maturity to think of the solutions. And thus you have a better already inbuilt capacity to think of solutions, which you should have had now, because nobody here is under 16, everybody is 16 plus. Generally it's high time you must have had the intelligence of knowing the solutions also. Ill discipline, strictness can solve ill discipline. Yes or no? So you have a remedy. And remedy is a very important thing which everyone should have. Now we come down to second person. What do you mean by second person? Sometimes in your language, you land up saying in a very unclear fashion what you really want to say. But if you want to make it specific so that it is not misunderstood, it is going to be wonderful. For example, you have dishonesty and you say dishonesty is harmful. There is possibility that a psychologist will think that you may have suffered it, that is why you are writing it. But if you write more clear that dishonest men suffer harm, when you say dishonest men suffer more harm, you are categorically being clear that you are talking of the people who are dishonest, not about yourself. Understood? Not understood? I repeat, if you write dishonesty is harmful, there is a possibility of a question mark where a person will think that are you dishonest or are you not. But if you write dishonest men suffer more harm, you are being categorically clear that you are not talking about yourself, you are talking about the dishonest men. Yes or no? This is the slight deviation which you can use in case you come across hard words. Angry man often cause loss to themselves. What's wrong? But if I say anger causes loss, there is a possibility of a question mark that have I done this? Not that we are going to be foolproof out of it, but creating confusions is going to be disastrous. So why are you creating confusion and inviting trouble when you are not? Yes or no? So writing clear is also very important. There was a boy who landed up in one place. He said, sir, I am a very decent man and I don't use abuses. And the interviewing officer asked him, okay, tell me at least 30 choices abuses after 15 minutes roundabout of the interview. And after 15 minutes, the boy naturally told the choices of abuses. Now here, the boy automatically contradicted himself. What he did was, earlier he was saying, sir, I am one person very gentle and I don't abuses, and thus I am not very aware of a lot of abuses. Who told you to say that? You invited to impress him. So after 15-20 minutes of the time, he landed up telling me, can you be kind enough to tell me 30 choices abuses? He landed up telling them highly researched abuses. So his answer itself showed that he was hiding, and later on he was trapped. So that is something, there is no point to pose yourself as born as a Holy Spirit. It is natural, you are human, you are learning everything, but you are also going to be wise to use what is appropriate to you. Yes or no? Now we come down, second person is clear. Then we come down to affective perception. Now affective perception is the way you look at a word. This problem comes particularly when you get taboo, social taboo words, where writing becomes dangerous and you do not know how to handle it. For example, you get a word sex, which is a social taboo for youngsters like you to write. What should I write? You getting the point? then in that case, if you write sex is an important enjoying activity, you land into further problem, because then the person automatically lands up understanding that you probably are overindulgent, yes or no, and then you may land up into complications thereafter. But if you've written sex ratio in Kerala, or you have written that sexual equality is being promoted by the government, female gender, what is the point? Do we have to write sex? We can say female gender are also being promoted by the government. Boys can also write, females can also write. Similarly, gender equality is being promoted from sex, gender can automatically come into your thought process. Rather than blocking the sentence, not writing anything, or writing something stupid, why not effectively perceive it? See in a nice manner so that you can use it. For example, tension. Tension is a mental process also, and tension is also a physical process also. Yes or no? For example, tension in the rope makes the rope stronger. High tension in the rope. Naturally, if the rope is high tension, that means very well cribbed, it is stronger.
High tension voltage lines.
Whatever you want, high tension nahi hota hai. That is a different word. High tension lines थोड़ी नहीं बोलते उसको. High tension बोलते हैं. Okay, okay, yes, okay, agreed. High tension lines are generally carrying more electric voltage. You can write. Rather than writing that I feel tension when I feel this, that means like you are creating trouble and thereafter you are denying it. For example, in that case where I told you the boy said, I don't know, I don't like people who give abuses, and then he landed up telling 30 of the choicest abuses in a hardcore matter, in a hardcore research fashion. So that will go contradictory to your approach, right? So here in effective perception, I've told you that you can transform the word to your suitability of perception and write rather than leaving the word. For example, kiss comes up, and you know that animals kiss their wound to cure it, don't they? Animals, they kiss their wounds to cure it by the saliva. Am I right? Understood? Kiss of sword is a salute in the armed forces. Enemies are made to kiss the dust, dhul chatana. Whatever. Rather than becoming, what should I write? Or blocking the thought, or landing up that a kiss is a beautiful way to express passion, or something more intricate. And now listen, I don't mind that in the present generation we have opened up the internet and opened the information. But appropriate use, appropriate reflection as per circumstances is also a responsibility of an officer or a system. As I have told you that you are entitled to go into a washroom and clean yourself. But if you do it publicly, it would be considered a case of misconduct, ill discipline and ill manners. So you should also know how to express yourself, when, where, what. You're getting the point. There are some people who tend to get carried away. They are not people with purpose. They are people who are unintelligent. You're getting the point. Don't get carried away by movies being taught of any kind. You need to have your discipline. You're not on an adventure trip of nonsense. You are on a positive trip of achievement. Is it clear? Remember, your good conduct, your good thoughts, your good stability, your good maturity, your good directives are going to help you become a wise, mature and competent person in times ahead. Becoming unnecessarily shy or becoming absolutely shameless, both are extreme poles. We want people at equator. Remember, in our globe also maximum population lives on equator. In and around equator, that's all. But people living in the North Pole or the South Pole is much, much less. So that speaks immense that we want balanced people with the right set of mind. We don't want absolutely negative thought process. Is it clear? Understood? So got this point, historical, horse. Now again take a negative word and write it in always. There is a possibility that all the words may not be like in few of them I have not written, but I have explained you. Similarly, there may be a possibility that you may not come up with some word in terms of second person, or you may not be able to come up with a word with the remedial solutions. Never mind. But by taking a word and writing it in 5 ways, you will multiply your thinking capacity to healthy and varied degree. Is it clear? So this is something which I explain, positive and negative. Now you will say, what about neutral? I have already told you, your perspective makes the neutral into positive, or your perspective helps you to write neutral into reflective fashion. Yes or no? And let your emotion be free, let your words be right, and let your thoughts come flow. Is it clear? Got it? Okay, so here we end this exercise, but we don't end it here. We go further more to teach you what is not to be done. And there also I've got a small code word to make you understand. Yes? I want to tell you one thing, any amount of alterations, just taking the sense, just taking the feeling is permissible. You change honesty into honest policy, you take honest into honesty as a virtue, anything is permissible. No, it does not, it doesn't come, it is a message to convey, and you have to pick up that message, that's all. The feeling has to be picked up and you have to do it. But you cannot deny seeing the word. Yes or no? For example, there have been many a time word called sex, and somebody has written Ferrari is a sexy car. Nothing wrong. It can come. Now you say sex has gone into sexy. Actually, sexy was a word because we are human beings. We have these inner qualities inside us, that these are basic tendencies. So whenever we felt attracted to something, we used to call it sexy. Though I agree that the word is negative, but in general trend, if you go down to big cities, metros, sexy is a normal word used in day-to-day language also. Got it, not got it? So you got to go by that. Any doubts? Clear, not clear? This is something. Then we come down to a system called what to do. We'll talk about it. Bagpiper. I created this to educate you what you should not do. B is for baseless sentence. Don't write baseless sentence. Like go, he is going, she is coming, he is going. Honesty, beautiful. Now, Rakhi is beautiful. Who's this Rakhi? God knows who are you talking about. Be more specific. Try to be more relatable. Handsome, he is handsome. He is smart, she is intelligent. This kind of sentence which does not convey a proper message is like me standing here and start it becomes like crazy mental affair where nobody is understanding why is he doing that. So don't use baseless sentence. Is it clear? There are some more people who write antonymical sentence. Antonymical sentence is also a quality of baseless sentence. In antonymical, if they get girl, they say girl are opposite to boys. It is like telling that he lives opposite to his house, he lives opposite to his house. What funny? We are not doing this as an antonym and synonym exercise. But why does a person do this? When they have blockage of thoughts, they have lackage of decision making, they will automatically start playing Mario or some kind of silly childhood games. Understood? So if you say you get ugly, Ugly is opposite to beautiful, beautiful is opposite to ugly. What are you doing here? You can be more clear about it. Is it clear? Next, we talk about grand. There are some people who love to pretend grand. They're dirty, but they try to be, I'm going to be kind to everyone, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. Grandness they tend to. Now this is unfortunate. Whenever you write something which is beyond your age and tending to pose someone as big as grand, you are actually hiding yourself. So I always believe that instead of using this platform to write big things, why not you write your true things? Big talks are unfortunately hideous and are generally used by people who are deceits more than natural talks. Yes or no? You'll find a new person who has lately been given an accord of some kind of respect, though he was not worth it. He will sit down with the children and he'll start talking of big things of science and its developments. But if a person who has been very tuned scientist will always talk to the children of the scientific discoveries which matches their age and their discussion, and probably talk of games, probably talk of day-to-day activities rather than telling that I am working in NASA, doing this, doing that. You have seen some people who go and play with the small children and then they go and play with the small children, maybe a man or a boy studying in class 12 playing with toddlers 4-5 years old and then play a double century also there with their plastic ball. This is 200 runs. Okay guys, I've done it. Now what is he doing? What is that person doing? He's living in a fool's paradise. Yes or no? So what is he doing? He's gone and playing with 4-year-old and there he's making them do the fielding and thereafter pretending that he's picked up a double century, whereas in real life with his age group fellow, he may hardly get 10 or 20 runs. Isn't it? So inappropriate attitude and talking big things is like that. You'll find most of the criminals, politicians who are negative. Every politician is not negative, but basically negative people, negative politicians always talk big things, but they do nothing. They are preposterously stupid and silly. Yes or no? So here we talk. Got it? Yes or no? So no big grand things. Then we come down to philosophical. Now what do you mean by philosophical? What is your age? Your age is of energy. Your age is of positivity. Your age is of doing things. Your age is of achieving things, not of philosophy. It's people as senior as me or maybe more senior than me who are fit to talk philosophy because we are over the age of achievements. You start writing birth, or if you get a word called death and you said death is the final truth of life, or you land up birth, rebirth, and rebirth is the way how human pass on to. Now this kind of philosophical approach will unfortunately make you redundant, inactive and lack of energy, particularly when you are supposed to practically work. Yes or no? So too much philosophy is, please stay away from it. One or two things which you believe as a hardcore principle taught to you by your parents you can express, but trying to pose as a philosopher, then please don't join the armed forces, join a philosopher. Then what will happen? You land up into the borders and there you will expect Krishna to come down and give you a sermon like he gave to Arjuna, Lord Krishna giving you a sermon, and then you are going for the war. We don't want that. Is it clear? So everything has a logic. Then we come down to I-based sentence. What do you mean by I-based sentence? Now I want to tell you, I as a sentence can be used. Many of the coaching said don't write, but I say you can. But don't use it with the I tone. Now you will say, what do you mean by I tone? Where your egoism comes into front light. I can't tolerate this. I don't like this. Now this kind of tone clearly speaks that you're very poor in adaptation and very poor in terms of flexibility or dynamism of your character. I'm not saying that you become a cheat, but if you have high I tone, then what will happen? The V tone will go away, and V tone is the sense of spirit of team. So team spirit requires V, not I. But if you want to use I in your sentence, where you say that I often use my Saturday in doing this, please do it. Because it is a relevant psychological information which you can write freely. Sometimes you have written that I enjoy, they give you mother, I enjoy learning cooking from my mother. What's wrong? Write it. So don't abstain from anything, but understand why. Many times, many people, to make it simple, they say don't write sentences on I. They have a reason. The reason is that if you write sentences on I, where you emphasize on I as an ego, there is a problem. But if you use that I sometimes to reflect what you do, it's a good psychological free expression which will be appreciated. Clear? Understood? I like my brother so and so. Can be written. I want to be an army officer. Can be written. So where is I band? It's on your block of mind. Yes, I tone is not appreciated. And many times too much of I also emphasizes that you are writing everything on I. That means you basically have an I thinking, self. So yeah, narcissist. It's a mental disorder. Then we come down to preaching. What do you mean by preaching? Now unfortunately, there is a very old saying that biting dogs seldom bite. Barking dogs seldom bite. You read that? Yes or no? Why is it so? Because anybody who tends to preach too much is generally poor and active. You will always find a lot of people, I have met many, a whole clan, where they talk big things but they do nothing for each other. Forget about the society. So what they do, they keep preaching, they keep talking, but they don't have any compassion, no understanding, except cheating in the mind. And in the process, their preaching speaks diametrically opposite of them. It's like a chameleon mask, hiding themselves behind a mask. Generally people, when they pick very sweet face, very courteous face, without any logic behind, only selfish thought process behind, let me tell you, you can identify that these people are wrong, they are artificial. Got it, not got it? So you have to identify that. So I advise, like for example, people say, we should respect our elders. Why are you writing we should respect elders? I mean, understood, not understood? Yes, okay, you want to write one or two preaching sentence, don't stop, full stop to it. You can write, but it should be in a complete sense. We should respect elders as their experience is very rich. Good logical point. We should value time because then we should value time for its full use. Logical point. Yes or no? But generally you will see, there was a book by Richard Bach. He's also a psychologist. He wrote a book by the name of Illusion, in which he said very beautifully, man teaches best what he needs to learn most. You getting the point? Why? Basically this is the way it goes. I realize, even as a teacher, I want to admit you, that earlier my thought was absolutely coming out of the world. Whatever I felt, I used to write. But when I started teaching, then I realized that this was not a genius shade in me. It was a preposterous shade, because I suffered many times for being misunderstood. And I realized when my intention was good, I was suffering for being misunderstood. Is it fair? Not fair. Then I realized that I must teach people how to organize their thought so that they are not misunderstood at least. How stupid it will be that you are competent and yet you are writing something for the sake of writing it and you are being misunderstood. So whatever I have taught you, it's actually from your day-to-day life, but it will help you streamline your thoughts and give energy to your thoughts. Be confident to express your thoughts. And many a time when your thoughts are going wayward, to direct them properly. Am I right? Getting the point? So that's how it is. Now we come down to E. E is extra on army. Now there are some people who think that I have come for army, air force, navy, so I'm going to write and praise it to the extent that everybody thinks that it is a passionate choice or sort of an obsession. Let me tell you, each one of you, obsession is never stable. Love is, obsession is not. There's a difference between love and obsession. Love is like the most pure form of love is what we learn from, what we gain from our parents. It is full of sacrifices. It is full of concern. It is full of support. But when love is in calculation, let me tell you, it's not love. It's just survival. It's just cheating each other. When you love with an open heart, trust me, it will come back to you. Old saying, when you love someone, set them free. If they come back, they are yours. If they don't, they never were. Same thing applies here. Why does a child get back to the parents? Because he is very secure. He feels a good intention. He feels the good vibes. But unfortunately today, you new generations will end up taking love as a calculation. No, it's not done. That is why you are not able to sustain it. Even if it is an obsession, it will die. And if it is an obsession, the other will suffocate and cry. So how to keep it healthy? Learn from your parents. Look back at your early teaching and you'll find that love is all about giving genuine thought process. Don't trying extra on it. Extra on army, extra on air force, extra on navy. You don't keep writing. Like you get smart, army officers are smart, intelligent, army officers are intelligent. Now what are you trying to prove? Everywhere writing too many sentences on army, air force, navy will only show that you are unnecessarily trying to be sycophant, a bootlicker, a chamcha. You getting the point? So we don't get disguised easily. We don't fall into this trap that if you have written out of 60 words, you have written 10 on army, praising it, we will like that, okay, you come up. No. We realize that you do it unnecessarily. It is not about your passion, it is about your advocacy, obsession. But if it is relevant, for example, there's a tank word and you've written about the artillery tank of the Army Air Force. If it is a word on division, you've said that Army has so many divisions, which are this of the structure, core, division and all that. If you have somewhere unit, so-and-so was working in so-and-so unit comes after a company, platoon, platoon, company, and you can come up with that, no issues. Is it clear? That's okay, but unnecessarily pushing everything into the army line will be disastrous for you. It will show that you are trying to cheat them. So don't show obsession, show healthy love. Is it clear? Last but not the least is revolutionary. R. When you write revolutionary sentences where you have no disregard for the authority, where you want to disregard the authority, you want to prove that you are super duper intelligent, you are the best, east or west, and you want to say that when you get into power as an army officer, you're going to throw the politicians out, you're going to do something silly, stupid, which will not be appreciated, because we are looking forward to discipline people for a disciplined organization. So anything which sounds revolutionary, rebellious, will not be appreciated. Is it clear? Ambition is okay, but rebellious is not. So this is what I teach you to abstain from. Backbite, baseless, antonymical, grand, philosophy. You can use now and then. Preaching also you can use now and then with a complete message. Extra-army, no. Revolutionary, no. Clear? Now, last but not the least, for your other system of WAT is your WAT should be generally of 5 to 6 words max. It can be 3 to 5 also. There are some times when you miss a word. I will teach you one thing, that in case you miss a word and you're writing, say you're writing 14 number WAT, okay, and you're writing something on whatever, and then suddenly 15 comes and you've not completed 14, I'll advise that you can take a pause, note down that WAT here, whatever it is, WAT 15, and then you can complete this. In case the 16 comes, you carry on with 16, write and start writing, and in between, before you change the paper, within 1 or 2, come up with a short word for this WAT which you've already noted down as a short word. This way you will not miss it. For example, you've written something here and then a word comes quit and you don't know what to write. And you have come again, by the time you could have finished, then leader came, so you wrote about leader, and in between saved some time and wrote quitting never helps, or quit never helps. They are not expecting you to be grammatically complete. They are expecting you to express your thoughts. You're getting the point. You can write, never helps, quit never helps. They will understand. But meddling up with words in sequence, top to bottom, bottom to will show that you are a confused mind. You are not able to keep things clear, not able to decide fast. Is it clear? Now there are n number of exercises which we'll be doing. These are basic things. I hope this will open up your mind to creating, generating your own thoughts and coming up with good thoughts in WAT. Is it clear? So I'm sure this session must have been helpful, but till you don't practice with taking different words from different lists which is available, which we'll be giving through different PDFs here, if you will not practice, let me tell you very clearly, you will never master the art of your thoughts and your mind, decision making. And the moment you do that, you will do well. You all have played video games in your child, but the first time when you played, you probably did not clear stage 1. But once you tried, then you went up to stage 2. Then you kept trying, then you landed up to level 6. Then more, and then you landed up to level 15 or maybe more. And then finally the person who had created the game, he said, you are already master, now please try some other game. Yes or no? So practice will help you do that. Your thoughts will get more streamlined, you will be able to take quick decisions, and your quick decision will help you to express with a focus. I've told you have a focus. Learn a thought process. Yes, you may right now with all these principles may never be able to do it. But if you practice it in your copy, then suddenly you'll find that you have a thought process which is coming quick and proper. And you will be able to express your thought process in 5 to 6 words. Is it clear? Got it, not got it? Thank you very much. And this is all for the WAT session today. And we'll come up with the SRTs. Thank you.